Hi, thank you for taking the time to watch this short presentation covering the key points from the report Ahead Together. I'm Katie Cresswell-Maynard, Executive Director of Engineers Without Borders International. It's been my privilege over the last 18 months to be working at EWB-International and facilitating a discovery process within the Engineers Without Borders movement to explore the potential for greater collaboration and unity. I'm pleased to be sharing these key findings and recommendations with you and request your feedback so that we can continue to navigate the path forwards in a way that is beneficial to all Engineers Without Borders organisations and ultimately the people we all strive to benefit in the world. Before I dive into the details, I'd like to take a quick moment to thank all those that have participated and contributed to the process. Firstly, I'd like to thank the 93 contributors from 31 national EWBs who participated in workshops and surveys over the last year. A global EWB movement is only possible by all of our active participation in shaping it. Time and time again, I am truly inspired to listen and learn about the amazing work you're all doing, delivering relevant impact to people the world over. It is a constant reminder that whatever we do at EWB International only serves to support and amplify what you're already doing. Secondly, I'd like to thank those that have provided additional support throughout the process. Bentley Systems for stepping up as EWB International's first strategic partner and giving us the space and opportunity to drive this initiative and bring the global EWB movement together. Cambridge Consultants, who provided pro bono strategic support in designing and delivering the engagement activities and structuring and editing the report. And Publitech, who provided an insight report on the brands within the global EWB movement. And of course, the board of EWB International, who have supported the process throughout and particularly debated and honed the next steps to ensure that these are useful, practical and appropriate. So, on to the findings. The global EWB movement is present in some 34 or more countries across every major global region. We operate in more than 89 countries worldwide, and we mobilise some 14,000 engineers, both students and professionals, to use their skills and expertise for the benefit of humanity. Global collaboration can be a powerful tool to achieve our shared goals, but can we deliver greater, better impact by uniting and collaborating? Is now the time to do so? And if the answers to these questions are yes, how do we even do this? These were the central questions posed over the last year as part of a deep discussion about the future direction of the global Engineers Without Borders movement. Throughout the strategic discovery process, those that participated broadly acknowledged that the opportunities global collaboration opens up can support the improvement of local level delivery as well as create global level opportunities that are only available to us by working together. On the whole, we pursue similar issues and take similar approaches. At least 23 EWBs focus on improving clean water access, 21 focus on delivering reliable energy, 19 on improved sanitation, and most are working on some form of engineering infrastructure, including also buildings and community infrastructure, food, roads and bridges, and waste management to improve lives today. And we're also reimagining tomorrow. 19 are delivering engineering education initiatives, 10 are delivering youth STEM activities, 6 are supporting entrepreneurs, and 4 are driving research and innovation. Overall, 27 focus on doing activities in both improving lives today and reimagining tomorrow, acknowledging a collective desire amongst EWB organisations to both take action today as well as create a better future. This creates significant opportunities for sharing, learning and collaboration, which helps us all improve what we do. We're all driven to make the world a better place, and we all emphasise the role of engineering in human development because we share a belief that through providing better engineering, i.e. one that is different to traditional norms because we prioritise people, inclusion, social and environmental impact, rather than solely focusing on the technological performance and financial rewards. We make an important contribution to addressing the injustices we see in the world. Through discussing our similarities and exploring the potential for collective action, we summarise that by coming together and through collaborating and standing united, we can realise these three key benefits. Firstly, we can drive globally significant and meaningful impact towards achievement of a future where all people and the planet can thrive. Through sharing and learning from each other, we can accelerate quality and efficiency improvements. Equally, by exploring opportunities to collaborate and work together, we can significantly scale collective impact. Secondly, we can advocate with a strong, insightful voice in global forums that matter to our work. Our international reach, know-how and track record mean we have a unique and valuable perspective to bring to the global stage and advocate for the change that is needed. And thirdly, we can mobilise significant support to scale and accelerate all our work. Working together unlocks our ability to raise significantly more funds in a more coordinated way, and allows us to attract the best talent and expertise from around the world to tackle these challenges. I think it is fair to say that most of those that participated in the workshop recognise these three key benefits to enhancing global collaboration and finding a way to unite together, albeit we acknowledge that it won't be straightforward. So why now? The Global Engineers Without Borders movement was initiated some 40 years ago. And throughout those 4 decades, efforts to bring the collective of organisations together have waxed and waned, and evidently not sustained. So why is now an important time to come together and try again? It may sound simple when I say this, but it's something we all recognise. Now there is urgency for coordinated global action. Humanity is facing significant challenges that demand global action at scale. Progress is falling short of what is needed and time is running out. The climate crisis threatens us all. The clock is running down on achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, only 6.5 years away. And projections based on the rate of progress are not optimistic that the goals will be achieved. Additionally, business as usual is unjust and unsafe and needs radical change. While some people enjoy high standards of living, millions don't. Yet in meeting and exceeding the needs of a few, we've already pushed beyond planetary boundaries, meaning we need significant innovation to rewrite the pathways to equitable quality of life. And engineering does have an important role to play, but attention needs diverting towards addressing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Significant investment is needed into delivering engineering focused on the social and environmental targets within the SDGs. Significant scale-up is needed in research and development for engineering that is actually relevant and appropriate to local contexts, particularly in the Global South. And significant delivery capacity needs building all over the world, i.e. the engineers with the skills and expertise to work with local governments and communities to decide, design and implement together the infrastructure that will create a better future for all people and the planet. All of these issues, Engineers Without Borders has the potential to meaningfully contribute to. Together as a collective, we have a strong, unique value proposition. We have global reach built with strong local roots. We have the passion and motivation to tackle the issues. We have the know-how that is needed. We have the track record to draw upon. And we already have the levers of change in place. I can't say it better than a quote left in one of the facilitators' notes from one of the workshops last year. I believe that the Global Engineers Without Borders movement can become a significant global leader. I believe this too, and I think most of you are also excited by this prospect and keen to see it happen. So how do we make it happen? How do we transition into a more united, collaborative global movement? I think we all know it will be a journey that is both exciting and challenging. Right now, the Engineers Without Borders movement is made up of independent organisations who share the same name, but to date we have to acknowledge there are no real agreed shared vision, values, goals or other collaborative frameworks that could help us realise our global potential. But note the emphasis on agreed. From the research I've had the opportunity to undertake, I can see there are huge similarities in vision, values and goals across national Engineers Without Borders organisations. We just haven't had the opportunity to come together and agree on some core pieces that will help us work together and unite. We are starting from a strong foundation with high potential for greater collaboration and unity to happen. But there are also challenges which will shape the path ahead. The following 8 observations have been compiled from the discussions and debates in the workshops, responses to the surveys, and desk research into the activities of 34 Engineers Without Borders organisations. These observations have then been used to form recommendations for how we might move forward, alongside building on the recommendations suggested by participants in the discovery process. So where are we at? We do have a strong shared ethos, but a fragmented brand. The Engineers Without Borders name has travelled across the world. Everywhere that brand has taken root, the ethos associated with that brand has travelled with it. However, there is inconsistency in presentation of the brand, which challenges our collective ability to build trust and understanding, both between ourselves, those that wish to partner and support us, and with the people and communities we wish to support. Unfortunately, a fragmented brand also reduces our ability to protect the brand from misuse and misappropriation, meaning we're all open to reputational risks by association. But underpinning this fragmented brand, there are recurrent words, messages, colours, icons and themes which give the national organisations that make up the global EWB movement more in common than any differences that may appear to separate us. This comes from that strong shared ethos and provides the foundation to build a stronger global brand. The second observation is that common themes characterise our work, but we're not working together, resulting in duplication of effort, learning curves and resources, as well as lost opportunities to amplify each other's work and celebrate collective impact. For example, there's an overlap of 2 or more Engineers Without Borders operating in at least 38 countries worldwide, with as many as 7 EWBs in some countries. Taking the opportunity to work together on supporting in-country activities, and in particular supporting the national strategies of any present domestic Engineers Without Borders organisation and building their capacity, seems like a logical next step. Additionally, as I mentioned before, there are strong thematic crossovers, particularly in delivering water, sanitation, energy infrastructure, and inspiring, educating and upskilling engineers, and in nurturing and championing entrepreneurs and innovators. There are significant opportunities to share and learn from each other, improve what we're doing with these diverse insights, and collaborate on collective delivery where possible. The third observation is that we are interested in collaboration, but inequitable capacity makes it challenging. The majority of contributors participated because they were interested in collaboration and the opportunities that opens up. But we have extremes of size and capacity across our network, which makes collaboration challenging. The largest EWB has some 40 or more staff, 3 country offices, operations in more than 30 countries, and revenue of in excess of $5 million US. By contrast, the smallest are run by handfuls of volunteers, working on 1 or 2 projects with a couple of communities, and operating with less than $5,000. This creates a significant capacity imbalance, further challenging any attempts to enable collaboration within the movement. Moving forwards, we have to seriously consider how we build resilient, equitable capacity throughout our global network so that meaningful partnerships are possible between national Engineers Without Borders organisations. The fourth observation is that a small number are already raising significant funds. So 15 national EWBs collectively raise approximately $17.5 million every year, which is a significant amount. And 59% of that is raised by just 3 organisations. But by working together, we could be raising more and distributing it more equitably. There are opportunities across the revenue raising spectrum to improve the size of the funding pot we can all access. And then together we can decide where it gets invested, rather than leaving it solely in the hands of the donors to decide. For example, at least 45 multinational engineering companies are named as supporters of the Global Engineers Without Borders network across the 34 national EWBs researched. 15 companies support more than one EWB, and they're named here. This creates opportunities to work together on coordinated proposals, potentially elevating the pitch and securing more funding for national EWBs. Additionally, we can explore opportunities with international or multilateral institutions, foundations and banks that are otherwise not accessible to us as lone national entities. For example, the World Bank, the UN, Gates Foundation, and regional institutions such as the EU, the Asian Development Bank, the African Development Bank. Again, we can also look at creating significantly more compelling impact narratives for individual donors around the world, particularly beyond the community we already consider to be our members and volunteers, and secure funds that are highly flexible and resilient as a result. Additionally, we might want to look at developing our collective expertise to explore opportunities to raise revenue through fees or paid for services. For example, we had a recent commission to provide research into engineering capacity across the African continent. And then together we can decide how best to invest the funds and to deliver the most effective impact and build resilient, equitable capacity across our network. The fifth observation is that our supporters are excited about the global opportunity, but we're really not offering it to them yet. Our supporters come in multiple forms. There are those that provide funds and resources to enable us to provide benefit in the world, those that volunteer time to help us deliver our work more effectively, those that partner with us, acknowledging that together we deliver better impact, and those that follow our journey and share it with others online and through word of mouth. The connection to a local community is important to all of us as we reach out to make sense of the world. But being part of a global movement adds an unparalleled dimension, knowing that all of our efforts combined will deliver greater impact than the sum of our parts. Some exciting prospects open up when we think about pooling our teams and supporters. For example, what opportunities exist for us when we pool the skills and expertise of all our volunteer networks around the world and facilitate the direction of those skills and expertise to urgent needs across the globe? How can an engineer in Kenya, for example, contribute to the work supporting a marginalised community in the US, and vice versa? What happens when we bring together a truly diverse international team to deliver a programme together? The sixth observation is that our global voice could be our most powerful tool, but we're not yet using it. This was one of the most prominent recommendations from workshop discussions, to mobilise our collective global voice on issues that matter to our cause. Delivering on this will build the value of working together and ultimately influence change in support of achieving the vision we share for the future. Influencing, campaigning, advocacy are all hard to deliver successfully, but offer the opportunity to deliver change at a scale that is hard to achieve any other way. Some national EWBs have successfully advocated for change in their own countries, and together we do have one example of sharing our voice to support change in the international engineering ecosystem via the Open Letter on Engineering Competencies published in late 2020. Working together to convene a consistent key message could provide pivotal momentum for our collective impact, and we already have strong networks in place that we can build from. 14,000 or so volunteers, at least 255 universities, 45 multinational companies, national engineering institutions, community and programme partners, local, national, international governmental bodies are all entities within our collective network, as well as more than 340,000 social media follows. The seventh observation is that we're not starting from scratch. Many other collectives of aligned organisations have mobilised towards greater collaboration and unity. Médecins Sans Frontières, Oxfam, Save the Children are all large household name non-profits made up of collaborating aligned organisations. Equally, there are many less well-known ones that we can look to for inspiration. What we do know is that alongside learning from others, we will also need our own time and commitment to realise our global potential. And finally, we already have a vehicle to support this collective action, but it does need some changes. So whilst it might sound self-serving to say this, it is helpful to have a coordinating entity to facilitate collective action. EWB International's intent and its role is not to decide on behalf of national EWBs and dictate. Its intent and role is to facilitate national EWBs to work together and decide together. Looking at how other international networks operate, the value a coordinating entity brings remains fairly consistent, and EWB International has the potential to bring this value to the network. Independence from national priorities, facilitation and coordination of long-term global priorities, provision of support, performance evaluation and quality assurance, support or provision of core organisational services such as fundraising, finance, HR, tech, legal, compliance, brand protection, communications and marketing. But clearly we're not offering all of these things right now. So it will take time and resource to build that capacity based on what is most important to National Engineers Without Borders organisations and your work. Based on these observations, these 8 observations, 3 key recommendations have been made, supported by 10 key actions, all driven to support us deliver impact at globally meaningful scales towards a future where all people and the planet can thrive. The first recommendation is to identify, build and care for a global identity and brand and create a collective ownership structure. This will unlock our ability to mobilise the resources we need to deliver greater, better impact. The supporting activities might include crafting that shared identity together and our shared expectations of practice, and working out how we can best coordinate the promotion, protection and stewardship of the global Engineers Without Borders brand. The second recommendation is to build our collective and collaborative culture and capacity. This unlocks our ability to deliver greater, better impact together. And the recommended supporting activities include trialling how we reshape global governance so that there is distributed leadership, shared responsibility, and participatory decision-making on global priorities and funding. Exploring alignment in programming by sharing and learning, supporting collaboration in existing programming, and identifying opportunities to co-create new global programs together. And also building equitable, resilient capacity and redressing the capacity imbalances by building global funding opportunities and creating peer support and co-learning initiatives. And finally, focusing on building that collective voice. This will unlock our ability to advocate with a strong, insightful voice in those forums that matter to achieving our work. The supporting activities that have been suggested include evaluating and evidencing our collective insights, expertise and our track record so that we have that strong platform to advocate from, and then using that to develop our strategies for influence. So what next? That's all great, but it's at least 5 years or more of activities. Where do we start? Based on our understanding of what matters most to national EWB organisations, what we think would offer the most potential to engage a majority in some initial activities, and what can demonstrate what is possible for us to achieve by working together, EWB International intends to prioritise the following activities throughout 2023 to 24 to kickstart bringing those recommendations to life. But We'd love your feedback on this too. So firstly, promoting sharing and learning and exploring opportunities to facilitate collaboration. Ideally hosting a global summit where you can all gather together and build our trust and understanding in each other. You'll see there was already an invitation in your mail out to join our first Share and Learn workshop of 2023, and I hope to see many of you there. You may also have noticed that an international team has been assembled to explore co-designing an innovation programme. And we're also looking at funding opportunities to support collaboration on youth STEM outreach initiatives. So we've already started on this. Secondly, we're going to focus on trialling our collective voice at a few relevant events or initiatives. Earlier this year, we trialled a social media campaign in celebration of World Engineering Day. We didn't have the time, admittedly, to co-design it with you, and we acknowledge that it would definitely be better to do this in future. So we're looking at some future events to aim for, and would love to have you involved in that when the time comes around. And then finally, we really think it's important to start trialling some international decision making on a few key issues. We really think there's some great opportunities to support, particularly to start mobilising collective funding efforts, but that's ideally done with decision making that a majority of national EWBs participate in. We're aiming to facilitate decisions on some initial global fundraising priorities, fundraising coordination guidelines, and establishing eligibility criteria for funding access with you. And we'll let you know the details soon about how you can get involved with that. So what do you think? We'd love your feedback on what you've heard here. Yes, what resonates with you? It'd be great to see, what you feel really, how you saw yourself represented in this presentation. But equally, it's really important to us that you tell us what concerns you. What is it that raises alarm bells in your head? And makes you wonder about what it is that Engineers Without Borders International is trying to do. What are you most excited about? And what do you think might be something that could turn out to be a bit of a dead end? So please share your thoughts with us, either via email or in the email where you access this video from. There were links to the report document, both in a summary and a full version. And you can go into those documents and add comments directly. That would be a really great way of commenting on some real specifics there. So really look forward to hearing from you and continuing to work with you, and we will follow up in the coming weeks with some more specifics. Thank you.